Interview. It's a new year, it's very snowy outside, and we're very pleased to welcome back our man Alan Green from Research Talks. Hello Alan, how are you? Is it snowy with you as well?
Hello, Mark, and Happy New Year to you and all our listeners. It's not snowy; it's just a beautiful day. It's beautiful sunshine. I'm sitting in the office at the front of the house, and everything is covered in a thick layer of frost. But it's one of those crisp and beautiful mornings. So yes, hopefully later on we'll head out with the dogs and walk up on Seaford Head and enjoy the views.
Yes, an excellent day to get up with the dogs when it's frosty like that. It's very beautiful and nice and crispy underfoot, isn't it, as well? It's the best time to go walking with your pooches.
It is, because the thing is, so often this time of year, when the temperature warms up, everything's muddy and slushy and horrible. But when it's like this, you can go out for a walk and you come back clean as well because, everything's frozen solid. So, yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, let's start the year off with the new Research Talks. And so today we've got tertiary minerals. Is it? Yep.
Okay, so we've spoken about mining and resource companies through the latter part of 2020, the big boom in precious metals and in commodities on the back of this huge spend that is being forced on governments around the world to deal with the COVID challenge. And effectively, governments around the world are having to print money to deal with the issue, and of course, more money is in circulation, which devalues the currency. So assets such as precious metals, such as raw commodities, such as iron ore, are ever in demand, and as commodities and assets in their own right, they are increasing in value because they in times of uncertainty like this, and when we're facing these sort of challenges, investors tend to head for safe haven assets, and obviously gold and silver very much top of that list, but also metals like platinum and palladium as well are key. I've been looking for companies that have great assets, which are at early stage and at later stage. And of course, we've talked about companies like Polymetallic Resources that has a raft of assets across the world at different stages, and ECR Minerals with its the gold assets in Australia. But there's a company that I think has been left behind the curve in this regard going forward. It doesn't seem to have moved along with its counterparts, and I can see no good reason for that. That company is Tertiary Minerals, and the EPIC code is TYM. And Tertiary really does have a multi-commodity project portfolio of precious metals, base metals, and industrial minerals. Historically, up to around a year ago, the company was focused on fluorspar, which is a critical mineral used in smelting, optics, and has a raft of applications. And it is a critical mineral, and it's the supply of which is very important. The market for fluorspar has been fairly benign over the past 5 to 6 years. Nonetheless, Tertiary Minerals have two assets, one in Sweden, which is the Storuman project, 27 million tons of fluorspar in the ground, and the Lassedalen project in Norway, which is 4 million tons of fluorspar in the ground. There are logistical issues and also development issues with the local authorities in each country. So these are very much dormant assets, but there will come a time, I'm sure, that when fluorspar, the price or fluorspar becomes a rarer commodity and the price goes up, that the retrieval of those assets may become a priority. If that happens, then Tertiary Minerals has an agreement with the German commodity giant Postle, an offtake agreement for a minimum of 70% of the fluorspar it produces, and Postle have also said that they will provide financing and logistics for any projects that Tertiary want to develop in that area in the future. So there's a store of value right there, which certainly is not reflected in the share price. Currently, Tertiary is trading at 0.2p, has a market cap of just over 2 million. Shares have been as high as 0.9p on the year, and we are literally just off the year lows now. So I've mentioned those assets in the ground. Just onto the company first of all. Richard Clemmy, the MD, was running the company up to springtime in 2020. He stepped down and moved on, and Patrick Cheetham, who is also the chairman of Sunrise Resources and has many years' experience in mining. He was involved with Western Mining Corporation in Australia and Imperial Metals in Canada previously. Patrick is the non-exec chairman who is at the head of the company and driving things forward. They have just recently brought onto the board as a non-exec director a Dr. Mike Armitage, who is chairman of the SRK Mining Consultancy. He has over 35 years' experience in mining. He's also chairman of the Applied Earth Science Division of the Institute of Materials, Minerals and Mining. And Mike, of course, brings a great deal of experience to the board and a great perspective on the projects that Tertiary is currently developing. So I've mentioned the Fluorspar projects. We'll leave those there for now. There's a gold project in Finland called Kariselka, and Tertiary sold the Finland gold project to TSX-listed Orion Resources back in 2017. And Orion Resources, the major shareholders include Kinross Gold and B2 Gold Corporation. There is an agreement. There's a royalty agreement in place with Orion that Tertiary will earn $1 per ounce of inferred resource, $2 per ounce of indicated resource, and $3 per ounce of measured mineral resource, on top of which it will have net smelter returns of 2% on all future gold production from that gold project. There's also, as part of the agreement, Orion can purchase 50% of that net smelter agreement for $1 million at any time prior to the commencement. So there's your second store of value there for Tertiary Minerals. And when you're looking at companies like this, it's basically where the assets are, where they are in terms of their development, and of course how near they are to getting the stuff out of the ground. So Orion Resources started drilling the Kariselka Finland Gold project in autumn 2020. The drilling was very successful. It retrieved 52 grams per ton from one drill hole over a 2.8 meter section. That was a drill hole that was 306 meters down on the ground. It also retrieved 85 grams per ton over 5.5 meter area from 190 meters down. And the Vanha target, VANHA, the mineralization zone on the back of the work that was done was extended to 200 meters in depth and 600 meters in strike length. So those samples are currently away being tested by labs, and of course we'll have news on that shortly, and the decision will then be made to take it forward. And of course there's a real store of value there for Tertiary when that takes place. So those are two assets, but the ongoing work for Tertiary is in Nevada. And of course, Nevada is the 5th largest gold producer in the world. It's also the world's most desirable mining jurisdiction in terms of the fact it's mining friendly. There are many mining companies operating highly successful projects in the area. And Tertiary's numerous projects, which I'm going to run through in a second, are based in the Walker Lane belt, in where you find a number of major gold mining companies operating. Goldfield there has a 4.2 million ounce asset. Comstock has an 8.3 million ounce gold asset and 192 million ounces of silver. Tonopah has a 1.8 million ounce gold asset. with 180 million ounces of silver in the ground too. And the assets that Tertiary own are some 25 meters northwest of Reno, which of course is the capital of Nevada, if you know your US geography. Firstly, we had the Pyramid Gold Project, and Pyramid Gold Project was there are 10 drill holes that are in the ground from Tertiary, and 8 of these drill holes are in the Ruth Mine area, which was an area explored by Battle Mountain Gold in the 1980s. The initial drill hole was completed last year, went down 137 meters, intersected half a meter of gold at 2 grams per ton. So not a huge reading, but nonetheless it confirmed mineralization was in the ground. So following on from that, soil sampling has been undertaken. Across that area, there are 9 patented claims and 25 unpatented claims owned by Tertiary. Soil sampling results are awaited from that, and we expect to have news on that. I certainly expect that we'll get that back, subject to COVID restrictions, by the end of the first quarter in this year. We then have the Paymaster Polymetallic project, and this is the sampling that's been undertaken here has returned 7.5% zinc, 4.3% lead, and 180 grams of silver. There are 19 claims staked in the area. Drone surveys have been completed across these claims, and again, the next phase of work will be announced. Again, I expect we'll hear about that by the end of the first quarter this year. We then had the Mount Tobin Silver Project. Samples collected delivered 101 grams per ton of silver. Drone surveys have then be completed there, so the results are awaited, and there are 4 claims across Mount Tobin. We then have the Peg Leg Polymetallic project, fantastic name, and new targets have been identified from drone flights. We then have the Lucky Copper project, which is northeast of the copper mining town in Nevada, a place called Ely, and Tertiary has received a drill permit to retest a 20-meter intersection which returned 0.65% copper. So we have a raft of projects that are underway at various stages. The latest news can be seen in the most recent progress update from those from the Nevada projects by Tertiary. And again, 2021 is going to be the year, but of course, Tertiary still has this market cap of just 2 million. It has. At the end of September, in the annual report, the company said at the end of September 2020, there is cash of 623,000 in the bank, and that's after all trade and other payables have been taken out. So the company has a very strong cash position, doesn't need to raise cash. So really, the market cap it's trading on is little more than the cash that's in the bank, never mind the other assets the company owns. I think the company should be worth, considerably more than it is now, just taking into account the price action we've seen from other resource companies with a range of assets like this one.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I was listening to you there, reeling off all the different projects and thinking, gosh, there's a lot going on there, and there'll be lots of news flow, I assume, to anticipate. But and with the cash as well, why is it so cheap then, Alan? Do you think it's just been missed by the market so far?
Well, I think what I put this down to, and whether it's true or not, I don't know, is that for many years the Tertiary was all about the fluorspar projects, and of course one of the fluorspar projects was recently discontinued, and that's the MB project, also in Nevada. But it has the fluorspar assets in the ground, but because of what was a fairly benign market in fluorspar, there was relative inactivity over an extended period of time. And although the company pivoted and announced the new developments, I think the market has yet to fully take on the true potential of the assets the company now owns. We've heard from companies like Conroy Gold and Argyle Resources, Power Metals, Kavango Resources, companies with ongoing projects that are ongoing and being developed. And Tertiary has a raft of projects in Nevada. It also has the two fluorspar assets. It has the Finland royalty project where it doesn't need to do anything. There's no expenditure required. That's basically cash in the bank once Orion decide to move on and develop the assets. So I think it's been judged on the previous fluorspar assets, and really I think investors need to take a closer look at the Nevada the Nevada project portfolio, and also just look at the recent announcements on the royalty projects in Finland.
Okay, and how are they with news flow, Alan? Is it regular? Are they quite good at keeping the market updated with what's going on?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
I think part of the challenge has been that, of course, with COVID work restrictions, a lot of the samples have been out to labs, and of course, samples are taking, as we know, a lot longer to come back from labs in various parts of the world than they would do under normal circumstances. So probably news flow around the projects has been slower than anticipated, but there's been steady news flow certainly during the quarter 3 and quarter 4 2020, and I expect we'll be hearing a lot more from Tertiary in the coming weeks.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Alan, there for covering Tertiary Minerals. And as I say, as you said Happy New Year to me, and I'll say Happy New Year to you. And here's to successful 2021 regular research talks, and let's see what can be done.
Here's to a successful 2021, indeed.
Cheers, Alan. Bye.
Cheers, Mark. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.